Things are heating up. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything It Ends With Us saga. I need to cool myself down because this is too hot, actually. A few days ago, I told you all that Justin Baldoni's lawyer gave a very brief statement correcting all the false media reports that had been circulating last week. No, he did not miss any deadline. Yes, he can still appeal, and now, over the weekend, Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, who is also my lawyer, although he was not representing me with regards to Serena Vanderbilly and Subpoena-gate, in an unusual move, Brian Friedman is speaking out again. Only this time, he's got a lot to say. He sat down for a new interview with Harvey Levin on Harvey's podcast, and don't worry, I'm only going to give you the highlights. It was a long chat. This video will be the best bits. Starting with, let's take a look at the big picture. Friedman says that he and the Wayfarer defendants were very happy with discovery. Translation? She's got nothing. And we know she's got nothing. That's why Blackmail Blake has repeatedly gone to the judge in New York asking for sanctions. Sanctions, and taking it a step further, even trying to prevent Baldoni and the Wayfarer defendants from presenting some evidence at trial, such as that infamous birthing video that his producing partner Jamie Heath attempted to show malevolent and has become a big focal point recently. Friedman tells Levin that Baldoni is, quote, an incredible man who deserves to have the truth determined by a jury of his peers. And Brian, Justin, and crew are all confident that they will win. There are just two big questions that have to be answered at trial. Did SH happen? And was there a retaliatory smear campaign against her? Because it sure seems like the middle-aged menace and her husband and her publicist and his former publicist, Stephanie Jones, engaged in one against him. And Brian Friedman used this opportunity to set the record straight even further on a lot of the misrepresentations out there that have been spread by you know who. Brian reiterated that no deadlines were missed and that Judge Lyman only issued a final judgment with regards to the New York Times, and that the case still is appealable, but not until after Lyman rules on, I forget which number request for attorney's fees they're on. They filed a lot of those. However, it's unclear if Baldoni and crew are going to appeal because Friedman says that they will be victorious after we win at trial, which obviously would influence their decision on whether or not to appeal before trial. Obviously, they would be appealing the rulings that the judge has made thus far. Brian says he does not believe that the mainstream media is giving Justin a fair shake, and I will say two things. One, I agree, and two, we don't need the mainstream media. You've got me. Now, if you've got a little bit more time, we're going to get granular. Where things stand now, Brian Friedman says, it's been quite a whirlwind of a case. Yeah, that's an understatement. But, you know, we're pretty happy with what the evidence has shown so far, and we feel good about trial. About all the headlines that were recently spun and misrepresented, Friedman says, "I'm not sure how anybody even thought that a deadline would be missed. The judge actually didn't issue a final judgment until just a few days ago, but also reserved that final judgment from being really appealable until after the judge rules on the attorney's fees motion. So there's going to be some time until you could even possibly file a notice of appeal." And people talk all the time about, well, why didn't they amend again? Why didn't they file a new complaint or an amended complaint? If you're familiar with standards of appeal, sometimes you don't do that because you have a better chance of winning on appeal based on a dismissal of the first complaint rather than a subsequent complaint that you might amend. There we go. They are playing chess. Harvey specifically asks, "Do you plan to appeal?" Brian responds, "Well, where will we be when the time for appeal comes, right? I expect that where we'll be when the time for appeal comes is we will be victorious after we win a trial. Then the clients will make a decision about whether to appeal or not. If you were to ask the question today, they may have a different answer than they have then. It just depends really where their headspace is at the time. I will tell you this. The case has always been about was there SH. Case has always been about was there a smear campaign. That's really as simple as it is. So, trial will tell. A jury will make that determination factually, and we feel really confident that we're going to get the right answers to both those questions. Then the conversation moved to how we on social media seem to be really supporting Justin Baldoni. And his lawyer said, quote, "I think that, people have been saying that for a long time now. And I think when you have a case that involves the issues this case involves, sometimes the only way to resolve it is trial. People are really dug into this case. And rightfully so. And I think it's an important case for everyone. It's an important case, frankly, for society in an unusual way. But I think the case does go to trial. I think the case has to go to trial. I think that it has to go to verdict." Meaning, most likely a settlement won't happen? I don't know. I still think there's a high possibility that a settlement will happen. Going to trial still is a risk, but I would love it if a trial happened. His lawyer continues, "I think that from Justin Baldoni's standpoint, who, by the way, I've known him for almost a year, incredible man, incredible, not just a good person, an incredible man, truly. And I just think that that he has to go to trial and let a jury of his peers decide, do these facts rise to the level of SH? Was there a smear campaign that he participated in? And was there retaliation? And what was the retaliation? But look, I just think that what you are can truly come out in a trial. And Justin is a fantastic person." Unfortunately, the trial will not be televised because there are no cameras in federal courtrooms. Friedman continues, "I think that people will be able to see and hear him for the first time in a year." Harvey then zeroes in on depositions, specifically hers, and asks Brian, quote, "You took Blake's deposition, right? So, how'd that go? Did you score points? Can you give us some overview?" Friedman responds saying, quote, "I think broadly, I can just say this, that I'm really looking forward to the trial. It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of noise about the case. Some of the most difficult parts, I think, has been mainstream media and how mainstream media has treated the case. That's why people have really turned to me, your number one source for everything. It ends with us, saga." One more time. And Baldoni's lawyer continues, "If you look at it and really kind of zero in on it, there are a lot of reasons why mainstream media has taken this case and twisted the words and misrepresented what's really been going on in the case. And it's done that in part because there are big time, powerful, important relationships with certain people and certain media that's owned by very few people in this town. Facts. And that's why when you talk about these social media people, they're not really my people, they're your people, they're everyone's people. They're the people. Right now, they're the jurors." Word. Brian then went in on Harvey for getting the whole recent final judgment and appeal situation so wrong, saying that the media and Levin have a responsibility to verify a story regardless of what the PR spin is. And now Perez Adames predicts that sometime this week we'll probably be hearing from ethically challenged Ezra or Mike Gottlieb. I think they're going to be doing some media now too. Tit for tat. And that's that. I just saved you a nearly hour-long interview. And if you're invested in this and want to support your boy Perez, I have Free Perez, Team Truth. Grab your friends, wear your floral, and more merch. You can check it all out at buypopstuff.com. And for the holidays, you need a Perez cameo. I love making personalized videos. Book one right now on the Cameo website at cameo.com/my name. P to the E to the R to the E to the Z to the H to the I to the L to the T to O to the N. If you like my podcast, check out our Patreon. We have an exclusive episode a week for all of our supporters there. Sign up at patreon.com/my name. Also, make sure to read my website. It is free and the best way to support. Plus, doing something as simple as watching until the end. That tells the algorithm that you enjoyed this content. You are a superstar. You are my 1%. Thank you for watching until here. Hit the like button, share this video, and say applause in the comments section, because I could always use some more. Applause in the comments section. Thoughts on what Baldoni's lawyer said. Let's discuss it all there.